Hey everyone, let's take a look at the Matrix loops by Divination. So you know that thing when you're working on your percussion and it just sounds thin, and you listen to your reference track, it's just got that big, sort of chunky, fat sound. Enter the Matrix loop. So let's take a listen. Now Dan was kind enough to send us some of the kick bass sections from some of his tracks, and I've just lined up a whole bunch of these Matrix loops here, 2 at a time across all these track versions. First I'm going to actually mute the track so you can hear how it sounds. So pretty fat. So let's now put some of these Matrix loops under. I've got them turned up a little higher than I usually would in the mix because I really want you to hear what these guys are doing. Now I'm going to just cycle through some of these loops. Let's take a listen to them in isolation. Just got that perfect engineered, sort of chunky, they just sit so nicely in there. Dan has really engineered them so that they just slot into that exact, precise slot where you want it for Psytrance. Let's take a listen to a few more. Just instant chunky, just so good. Notice as soon as I take them out, the percussion sounds just a little bit on the thin side, and to like put them back in. This is so great for when you're trying to get your track sounding like it can just carry itself on its own momentum without even needing to add that many sounds. I mean, these backing tracks are very sparse. And having this chunky percussion feel means you can actually just ride without having to kind of add a whole bunch of sounds. Let's check it out on another backing track. I'm going to try these loops. So again, let's take a listen without the loops. Okay, throw in the loops. And I'm going to actually have them coming in right where this open hi-hat comes in. Again, I'm going to mute these here. Let's take a listen. Just lifts it, elevates it so well. This is a real secret weapon in your bank. I love these so much. Right, so for some of you using Ableton Live, you might not care as much what tempo your loops are because the warping is so powerful. I use Ableton, but I mostly use Cubase, and the technology is not quite as hot for easily changing the tempo of your loops. Dan's got you covered because he's done all the loops in both 140 and 145 BPM. So whether you're doing more proggy stuff or more full on, whatever, he's got you covered, both BPMs. Let's take a listen here at 145. Again, I'm going to mute the loops. It just fills it out. It just makes it sound done and finished. In terms of the processing, so like I said at the start, I've put them a little bit louder than I probably would have them in like a finished mix. I would also maybe high pass them a little bit, and also I like to put a little bit of a high shelf on here, just to make sure those top hi-hats are poking through. I like trying a bit of Fab Filter Saturn, just with this gentle saturation. You can see a little EQ curve as well, just to give them a little lift. And finally, it's always worth trying a bit of parallel compression. And those are just some options, but to be honest, you can just drop these in, maybe pop the bass out a little bit, and you're done. It just sounds so good, which is exactly what you need when you're in the flow of your track and you just want to beef that percussion up without spending hours engineering and EQing your options. So amazing. We're so proud to be presenting the Matrix Loops by Divination.